Alex, any quick thoughts on the teams? Anything you know about them?
No, don't know anything about them. Just, just what everybody else knows. Washington, the Pac-12 runner-up, and had a great year. And from afar, obviously, have known that they've had a great year. One of the teams that was talked about a lot about hosting. They certainly saw a little bit of the Georgia Tech game yesterday. Just watching television, hanging out with the kids. Georgia Tech winning the ACC. Championship yesterday. Obviously, a very hot team. I guess the one that is a little surprising for everybody is because you just assumed that Jackson State would come here, and wasn't sure anything about Jacksonville State. So just when they came up and checked them out on the internet and saw their stats and win 36 games, and so obviously a very good regional. A lot of good teams. Two teams from big time conferences, and so it should be a good weekend.
Just talk about getting it back here. 5 years ago was the last time. It's got to feel good to get the regional back here at home.
Sure, just proud of the team. Obviously, we've had a great year, and a really consistent year through the 14 weeks, and one I think that the kids deserve, the fans deserve, and it's always great to be home this time of year.
How much easier is it on a head coach in this program to host, rather than winning games or not winning games, just being at home?
Well, there's a lot of different factors. I just said on the air, people talk about the actual games, and we talk so much about being at home and 70+% chance of moving on and those types of things. I think when you're on the road, you talk about being in somebody else's stadium, but logistically, the week of, it's so much easier. We're fortunate here that we've hosted a regional so much, and the administration here does it so well that we're not involved in that. They handle it tight as squeeze. Will be the tournament director this year, and they do such a great job. And leading up to it, they're prepared, they're ready to go, and so all we have to do is practice and get ready to play baseball. The other thing for us is you don't have to worry about flights. If you're flying somewhere, that can be a big pain because the NCAA does the flights for you, so you're kind of at their mercy, and figuring out if you're going to charter or you're going to fly. And then the other thing that I think is tough on the road is the parents. We've got to remember, we got 27 kids that have parents that want to go somewhere, and they're trying to find flights. And you kids, you try to tell them that the parents will handle it all themselves. Don't worry. Now the parents got to come to Oxford. Where they've been coming to Oxford, all year long and for years, and so they know their way around. They know where to go. They know where to stay. And so logistically, I think it's a much easier for us this week preparing versus have to get on the road with the other obstacles. And again, it's not just the actual what field you play in. It's all those other things I just mentioned.
Trent said he threw a pan, felt good.
Yeah,
pretty good with him.
He looked terrific. But when we got off the bus on Saturday, and as I told, I think it was you. Maybe it was you.
It was both of us.
Yeah, we were both. It was both of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was fine. It wasn't. We didn't want to make a big deal of it, but it was one of those things on short rest. We didn't want to push him and put him not in jeopardy, but get him to a point where maybe he wasn't at his best this week, and wanted him to throw obviously, but wasn't willing to push it at that point. But when we got to Friday and before the game, because it was Friday, the Arkansas game. Is that Friday?
Yeah.
That he did his throwing and felt great, so he would have started that Saturday, and I would have put him on normal rest for this week. So yeah, he threw pen, felt great, and ready to go.
I know this is kind of big picture, but hosting a regional again, does it kind of, validate all the decisions you guys made in the offseason to kind of change things and try a different path a little bit, that it did work?
And what path was that?
Like, just making the changes in the off-season program get tougher, bringing in.
Yeah, but I think every year you look at what you need. I'm sure we'll do that at the end of this year. I don't think you say, hey, we got to figure it out. Let's just do this. I think it depends on your team and who you are, and I think last summer when we sat down, that was the thing. Is let's really evaluate and see who we are, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We are pretty good. We've done some good things, and let's face it, we've been to postseason, whatever it was, 11 out of 13 years. but we're a game short here, we're a game short there, and that one game in our league means everything, you know, as we all know, every single year, and it meant something this year. And so how do you get that one extra game? How do you get that one game on that one weekend that really, you know, turns the tide, so to speak? And so, you know, obviously, you know, we've talked about so much that I think that was the focus, but I don't know if that'll necessarily be the focus, you know, next year. I mean, certainly we'll realize that you got to be tough,
Right.
but what will next year's team need? You know, we'll see. We'll evaluate that this summer.